Stop playing Spider-Man! You're welcome. Okay, that one probably doesn't apply to everyone, but I'll bet someone out there needed to hear that. Anyway, what's up, bronze to gold losers? It's me, Ragtag, your resident king of the donkeys, alongside being the greatest gutter tier gamer on the face of this earth. And today, I've got some tips for you that will hopefully help you ranking up in this game, but you only actually really need one of these tips to make the necessary leaps and bounds happen if you're hard stuck in the lower tiers. I hit diamond much earlier than expected because getting boosted by better teammates apparently doesn't take that long after all, but I'll be uploading some of my climb for you over the next few days so you can see exactly what happened between Plat 2 to Diamond 2. Alright, so I've got a list of things that will help you. So much I could say, in fact, that I won't be able to talk about them all in one video, but I'll give you the one I think most important first. What a pretentious title that is. Try this one instead. Now, while I did shout at the start about not playing Spider-Man, it was a joke, but also not really. If you stick with heroes that are hard to learn, you are probably going to get there in the end, but if you're not seeing the results that you're looking for, your current value extraction simply isn't enough. Yes, I'm calling you trash. I mean, at least compared to the top players on those Instagram reels or the TikTok clips of people tearing through entire teams of dive heroes. If you choose someone with a high skill ceiling to rank up with, then your skill requirement to impact a low rank game is obviously much higher than you think it is. The way things are for me in Diamond right now, we've got hero bans and it's pretty much the same thing every single game. You're seeing Storm, Wolverine and Hulk. They're getting banned without fail because, quite frankly, they're annoying. And yet, bronze to gold matches will often have a completely different set of problems. But I want to play Spider-Man in ranked, he's the most fun! Then have fun in silver! Look guys, the truth about the lower ranks is that there are brain-dead characters and brain-dead strategies you can play instead to extract huge value from. The difficulty star guide in the heroes list, by the way, is generally pretty good, although I think I take issue with Hawkeye's rating as he's about as 1 star as it gets on some maps. Anyway, when you play heroes like Scarlet Witch, Squirrel Girl, Jeff, your left click has tremendous impact and you only need to utilize one of your 2 remaining brain cells to put insane pressure on your enemies and completely turn the tide of battle. When you realize that the enemy Winter Soldier is panicking in the face of the Red Death, then he won't be dealing with your Scarlet Witch. As you can see here, Jelly, I mean, she obviously doesn't play Winter Soldier because she's realized he's like Peter Pan in her hands. Anytime she throws a punch, it never lands. All right, I'll get my coat. But in my hands, well, I actually don't play him much either, but I know enough to put an end to the Red Devilry, and yet the effort required to do this is much more than just pushing W and holding down one ability. Now, if we come to Squirrel Girl, if you used her to relentlessly spam acorns, effectively halting a team's push completely and you're randomly but frequently getting kills on top of it, congratulations, you are a terrible human being, but also you just took the first steps to maximizing value. How do I know this works? Because, well, I'm about as sharp as a bowling ball and I did the same thing until I reached a rank where people began to adapt to it. It doesn't really matter if you use the heroes I've mentioned or if you've just found others that can do the same thing that you're after. The overarching point I'm ultimately trying to make here is that overcomplicating your game plan can be your undoing, which is where this bitter pill to swallow needs to come into your awareness. Dunning-Kruger is a well-known phenomenon, often dismissed most by those with who I would attribute it to. It's basically to do with your cognitive bias, but stick with me here. If you're stuck in a lower rank and it's not your fault, it might be time to admit that it is in fact your fault. Just because you've popped off with a few heroes and it worked maybe 10 games in a row, when it has stopped working, there may be a mismatch between your confidence and your competence. And it's very hard to convince someone that they are more confident than competent, which is why you will find so many morons in your games, by the way, that like to shout on voice chat about how useless someone else is, when in fact, if you're all the same rank, a certain teammate may be on the tippity top of Mount Stupid. So as you can see by the chart, confidence can get very high with a little ability, until more time passes and then you realize there's a lot more to learn than you thought, and it all adds up. The littlest details, like recognizing the differences in voice lines for your team's ultimates versus the enemy ones, allowing yourself to die more quickly when a team fight is already truly lost, saving your ultimate for the next round in domination. Oh look, you get the idea. It all adds up because knowledge stacks, and when it does, your uncharitable feelings about negative KDA teammates can filter away as you try to broaden your understanding of their problems and support. I mean, just tell them to get off whatever trash hero that's losing you the game, right? I'm kidding, or am I? When you play a ranked game, everyone in their own mind needs to feel that not only are they a competent player, but they may very well be the best chance their team has to succeed and win the game. But, to be honest, I welcome that mindset. I say lock it in all the way, but This can sometimes be followed by levels of self-delusion when, these players meet savvy, competent opponents. So of course, that must mean that if you're playing Luna and you get dived, the fact that you missed your freeze on the dive, that's irrelevant. You weren't supported enough, and the DPS must be complete trash for allowing this travesty to happen. Or if the duelists are not getting picks because the trash strategist didn't heal them through 3 walls. Oh no, it's not my fault, it was you! Wah! Guys, it happens to me all the time. I get flamed or critiqued on my abilities, and yes, gold-ranked Groot's in the YouTube comment section telling me how his walls are working. I'm talking to you! But people pick on my decisions in-game all the time. Call me a thrower, whether I'm tanking or DPSing. Do you know what? They might be right. Sometimes I truly am the weak link, but I can tell you being flamed isn't going to change that one bit. Not everyone can cook in every game, and sometimes there's going to be reasons for that beyond your understanding, and that of your teams. The ego, of course, needs a reason why you lost, so someone else is getting called useless trash regardless, but you really do have to keep telling yourself that you're getting matched with people of a similar skill and working on your own understanding of the game while bearing in mind that your confidence is likely disproportionately affected when your competence is lower than you'd like. Bringing the Dunning-Kruger effect back to the forefront. An obvious comeback would be for someone to say, I've spent 100 hours in gold, I'm a lot better and know so much more than I ever did before. It's clearly a conspiracy, I'm getting put with useless teammates. In my last video about the tips of ranking up, I made a joke about me being the best bad player you'll ever meet, and that's a tongue-in-cheek way of saying that I am hard stuck in whatever rank I'm at probably, but it's also a nod to me accepting my limitations. It doesn't mean I won't ever still climb, but good grief, I'm a slow learner at times, and yet, in some games, I'm popping off while someone else on my team is struggling. Having the wisdom to see that a combination of elements are working against your teammates or even yourself can mean that if anyone on the team can adjust their game to support someone else's issues, which I'll talk about shortly, this can be a fantastic win condition. But when people are trying to come up with a game plan to win, it's usually just kill the healers, easy clap, lol! Yeah, by now, most rank-up guys will have explained the power of fighting a team without heals, but in the realm of being hard stuck, we have to turn our attention to the times where this is not working. Why it happens is multifactorial, which is a word that describes the many reasons your dad left you on a bench while he went for a pint of milk. But when it's not working, you have to open your mind to the possibility that the enemy strategists are expecting to have to deal with the prospect of being dived. The sooner you figure out that plan A has a flaw in it, the faster you're going to win some of these games. Maybe Magneto's popping a shield on the supports, maybe there's 3 strategists and they're banding together, maybe one of the DPSs is Luna's overprotective boyfriend, just hanging back looking out for her, and a whole load of maybes can just put a simple strategy out of the window, and yet people continually adopt this relentless backline flank approach as if it will come as a complete surprise to the enemy team, and it can. Until it doesn't. You're going to sometimes find the strategists you're trying to kill are actually duelist mains in disguise, and they love seeing a chance to dunk on their favourite character that they play best. Other times you're just going to have to admit when you cannot impose your will on a team because insert reasons why you're trash here. Just prepare for the realm of a sustained team fight where taking out the backline is done with moments of opportunism. It's just another way to say wait until they do something stupid and then knock their block off. Look, eventually you're going to find that brain-dead strats and low-skill ceiling characters won't work if you come across Smurfs or the general player base just starts to wisen up to something that worked in a previous season, or perhaps you're climbing, and now you need to raise those standards. If you take a brainless spammer like Squirrel Girl and you one-tricker, you start with the low ranks, right? Huge value from just hailstorms of acorns, dropping conkers on chrome domes everywhere, it's great. As you climb, you can still do it at key points in certain convergence maps like Clintar, but the better your enemies, the more strategic your placement is going to need to be in terms of where you're standing. Going further up the ranks, you're going to need to improve your survival skills, which means you absolutely have to start landing the blockade squirrel trap. Then when you reset your abilities, you need to know when to hold off from doing it in the event. You need to have 2 jumps so you can really get out of somewhere you shouldn't be. And if you're going to insist on playing Squirrel Girl in Diamond, then you can become quite vulnerable as her weaknesses get more pronounced. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it means you're going to be seeing Storm and Iron... Well, not Storm because she's getting banned in every game, but you have to be able to take these people out of the air if your teammates can't. But by the time you even get to this quandary, your Squirrel Girl skills have to be insane just to compete at this level or you simply broaden your hero pool to have an easier time, and the skill requirement to hit those shots on Iron Man, Storm, whoever it might be, it just gets easier if you take the Punisher instead. For me, I got to Diamond 2 with simple cooldown management and positioning alone, but now I've been starting to see Spider-Man mains who are on a diet of Red Bull and EpiPens. Sure, I've surprised them with some impossible trap shots, but combined with facing the problems of Black Panther, Iron Fist, and even Venom, eventually I just went back to the drawing board of quick play and whipped out Namor as his tentacle turrets. He's got an O-Put button and the powerful trident tosses. It just makes it a lot easier to protect the back line. And putting him into my competitive games didn't actually take long at all once I realised why I was playing this character. What I'm trying to say is that the advantages to understanding inherent strengths and weaknesses of all the heroes in the game allows you to decide how far you want to go to min-max your own capabilities with your favourite hero versus expanding your playable roster so you can, say it with me, play Spider-Man? No! Extract maximum value! What I've covered today are topics that can be quite expansive, so I'm sure I'm going to get comments saying what I've forgotten to mention, but really I just want to get you started when you're stuck in a low rank, because mindset and fundamentals are often the biggest mistakes, which is why it's better to stop overestimating your abilities, stop underestimating your teammates, forget the allure of blame, and if you still can't rank up, join my Discord and send me your replays, because I'm bringing something back I said I'd never do again, a long-forgotten coaching series for bronze to golds, and it's not for the faint of heart either, because, well, you gotta be okay with getting completely roasted. Take it easy, catch you on the next one, later!